career gone to Norway. So you can shoot this and this. What's holding your ambitions back? We're here to help make them happen. CIBC, ambitions made real.
We're in a volcano to test Finish Ultramax against top burnt-on stains. Finish Ultramax breaks them down, cuts grease, and boosts shine for the ultimate clean, even on the toughest stains.
Two.
Looks like we're ready for some deals. Are you? Discover this week's deals online or in the flyer.
Researchers have found that Canadians aren't smiling as much as they used to. Together, we're about to change all that. Looking for a dentist who will make you smile? That's us. 1, 2, 3 dentists. Come on, Canada. Smile with us.
I love working here. Why? I mean, why?
DMB, new comedy Monday, 8:30 Eastern on Global.
The following programs contain violence, coarse language, and mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Decepticon, defend the pillar. Raise the bridges. Turn the volume up on that. Chicago Belcher. You're up. Understand?
Jason, we spent some time in here because the person is fake rich. Our capability in Chicago Rivers. I'm going to hot you from the back. Now, the kind of control everyone.
That's how we're going. You have to shoot down the pillar or they're going to transport out of front here. You understand?
Understand? What?
Give me a GPS of the building and on that drone. Let's go. Entering the coordinates. Georgia, don't take it. Back to the car. All right.
We need to move before the Titans spot us. Wait here until we smell a loot ahead. Let's go.
Cover high. Hey, you think you use that rock to shoot down the pillar? 8 blocks away. Not close.
This is where I fuck a roll. Okay. All of you watching just saw the big goof up, dumb mistake I just did by forgetting the rule of measure twice and cut once. So, yeah. Or actually, I should have measured twice and drilled once. Because you see, when I lined up, I got these two lines far apart. You can see here, let's see. Yeah. I did the lines based on the outside of the drive, the left to right measurement, the width, and I forgot to account for the screws being 9 points being a bit on the inside from that. So anyways, what I had to do is I ended up drilling 2 more holes. Now that's leaving me with 2 problems. The 2 obvious ones is these 2 outer holes on this side, which I will have to get the stuff to plug up and then sand down on the outside, which hopefully shouldn't be too visible on the bottom, and since I'm repainting that, that hopefully should cover those up. But it's going to take me extra time. And the other problem it leaves me with is you can see this here. I'll leave the drive offset towards this side here, which actually I may be able to use that. I may be able to I'll have to measure with some extra care. I may be able to mount a power lid along here beside the drive, but I'm not going to make the opening for that until I've got the actual drive mounted in the case. And the next thing I do, I'll have to make the markings of how far, well, these vertical lines I'll put here, I can position horizontally, but then I'll have to figure out the actual height it'll be sitting inside the drive, which of course I'll have to be extra careful with. So, yeah. So anyways, let's see, grab my marker again. My big extra wide marker. Let's see, actually I'll have to miss that a bit. Yeah. Okay. And again, because of camera angles, you're going to have a bit of trouble seeing this, but oh, great. Okay. And you can see, my other problem is I can't see where the line is on the top, so I'm going to have to rough it in over the corner, and hopefully that'll let me line it up enough. Clean that up in a bit. Give it some isopropyl and paper towel. I'll clean that tool off. Yeah. Minor problem, relatively speaking. So, yeah. That will, let's see. Actually, yeah. Okay. That will, the outer line will line up, so I'll just be a second while I clean that up. Okay, yes. like I said, bit of isopropyl alcohol and it should come off. Yep, it is. And I'll get this inner line off because I want to use the outer line there, which lines up with the edge of the drive instead of the screws that'll hold it in place underneath. So that, and actually if I don't have enough room on the side for the power LED, I can always put it below or on top, below or above I should say. Or I could put one in the top of the case, which would, being as that's transparent, I could even have it inside. Or I could do both. I got one inside and one on top. And I think I spoke too soon on getting that cleaned up because looks like I'll have to do it again. But that's not such a big problem. So, anyways. Let's see. Yeah, my drive. Okay. Yeah, so what I think I can do is to take these screws out, I can use one of these spacers, nylon spacers, along with the drive to figure out exactly the height of the drive from the inside bottom of the case to where the bottom of the drive is, and that'll give me the distance from here where I can mark the bottom edge of the drive. Then it's just the height of the drive where I can figure out where to mark off the top. So that should be pretty straightforward, as long as I'm careful and double check, unlike what I did with these. So yes, let me get these. Screws out of here. And hopefully I can get these, one of these nylon spacers to stay in place long enough to measure it properly. I don't want to tape it down because the thickness of the tape, especially double-sided tape, would throw off the measurements by a millimeter or two. which I don't want to do, because that would be another flaming nuisance. That would be even harder to fix, and I don't want to throw out this case and start over. Forget that was what it was, but it was over 20 bucks, and I had to wait for the Amazon shipping, which I don't want to do that again. Yeah, I don't want to waste any time and money needlessly. Okay, so let me figure out where and typical. When I got the camera running, I'm trying to get things done. That's when these things decide to get slippery. Okay. Yeah. Actually, let me see. See, you might actually see the measurement before me this time. And yeah, typical nuisance, even if just a small one. Okay. Let me see. Uh, 38.7 millimeters. So, my pen. 38.7. millimeters. Okay. Back in there. Drill bits out of the way. Check that again. I'll do is I'll zero that and measure again. Because I want to make absolutely certain that I get the vertical height of the opening in the front there exactly right, because I don't want any big gaps. Okay, 38 millimeters. Make sure I get that exactly right. Yeah. Because that's the most important one, because it's going to be visible on the front. So this is where I've got to be extra precise. And of course, I've got to get the height of the 12.5. 12.5 and yeah. 12.5 and 2.8. So 14.5, 15.3. So given by the thickness of the case, bottom, yeah, going by the case bottom thickness and the nylon spacer, I've got to go 15.3 millimeters down, which I'm going to have to do without the camera running or off the camera, so I can, otherwise this just ain't going to fit. And I know you're not going to see this, which really blows, but okay, so I'm going to have to go straight across on the upper edge of that line. The upper edge of that little bit of a line, which I'll extend across. Yeah, I want to make sure I can extend that all the way across without getting it crooked. just trying to get this flat edge perfectly flat on the side of the case so that line doesn't go crooked. Because if it does, it's going to be a crooked opening all the way across. Which is really going to throw things off. Okay, I think that's it. So 38 millimeters. So I gotta go 38 millimeters from the top of that line, which is actually the bottom while it's upside down, but I go 38 millimeters this way to get to the top of the drive, which I'll have to compare. Well, actually, I'll have to do it. Should do it this way. Or actually, what I'll do is I'll set this. It's got a metric edge. So what I'll do is I can't set it from the top of it. It's just best if I do it this way, which I know you're going to have trouble seeing this too, but can't be helped. I don't know what to. Yeah, I will. What I'm doing is I'm lining up the 6 centimeter mark on this line, on this little straight edge on my square. I just should have stuck with the main part, and I'll go .38, so 3.8 centimeters. And I should really clean this off so I can see the markings clearly. I just want to make sure. So it should be starting at the 6 centimeter mark. Again, I'll use my obnoxiously big magnifier. Yeah. So the inside edge of this should give me enough so there's always something getting in the way. I'm using the inside edge of this line, and of course that's the part that went off the rails. Yeah, so, okay. So that should be and I got it too big, so let me see here. Face of this. .6. Yes. Of course, I went and did the height with the drive and the spacers, which .4 centimeter. Yeah, I did the drive height with the spacer and not the 24.3. So actually, it's a good thing I measured that again too, because it's 24.6 millimeters. Geez, yeah, all that for I've gotta do that again because I've kind of made a bit of a mess, and I've noticed that this here isn't quite square going across, so I'll have to clean that off. So anyways, I'll put you on pause and bring you back in a second when that's all done. Okay, so it looks like I've got it lined up. So let me see here. Let me see. Okay. Yes. Yeah, so what I'll do now is I will drill out the corners so I can start cutting the opening. And this is going to be probably the most nerve-wracking bit of it all, which is why I took such annoying pains to get it lined up. And of course, once that's done, I can clean all these marker off, and that'll look a lot better. And of course, it'll be painted an Atari XE gray or close to it soon after. So anyways, on with the show. Actually, yeah, should make sure I get all the remnants from my previous drilling off the bit. Okay, clean up those holes and I think I'll use the cutting wheel on the Dremel. Yeah. And I can stop just before the holes that I just drilled, so that I don't overshoot and make a bigger mess on the front of that case. So, yeah. This same old cutting wheel that I've been using for a while on this project. I'll go back to that. And get that in place. And of course I'll spare you the dentistry noises.